I've never seen an intro song have such mixed reactions. Usually people are, I mean, it's like those people have very different opinions about my outro songs, but my intro songs are all non-lyrical usually, so people don't take offense to them. It seems very mixed in reaction to this. I don't know what it is. It's not Israeli music, if that's what you're thinking. At least as far as I know. It is weird. I think I have to give more time to people to fill in during the when the stream just starts, because I've noticed that it only really gets to peak numbers like 10 minutes in, and I wonder if that's why Jim has like such long, when he used to stream, he used to have like such long waiting periods of just like stream starting soon, because that's what it would take for the stream numbers to actually build up to their full potential. And I wonder if that's because of notifications, like if that's the people who see the notifications and they jump in, they don't see it from like Twitter or Discord, which is kind of sad, because it makes me realize that a huge amount of the live viewers that I get are entirely dependent on YouTube to notify them. It's not the schedule, it's not Discord, not Twitter, not the Fediverse or anything. It's specifically YouTube allows me to have an audience, which is quite frustrating. But oh well, I'm glad you're here for the time being. I did not stream last week, so I gave a suggestion, which did not get well received. I said to give Frenemies a try, and I stand by that, because the last episode of Frenemies is probably the funniest that they've done, unintentionally the funniest that they've done.
Shalom, everybody. Shalom, shalom. Welcome to Frenemies. Today we are doing Jewish trivia.
If you don't know, I'm just going to give this is my current muse, is this fucking show with Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas. Both of them I don't like. And I think that's a lot of the audience of their Frenemies thing. Nobody likes either of them. And I don't know if Ethan has done this intentionally or not, but he has kind of struck the lightning in a bottle that the biggest problem in the universe had. I only saw the biggest problem in the universe after I had met Dick, but a lot of people look back on that really fondly, and I think this is the same kind of thing where, like, even though I don't like Ethan Klein, him sitting next to Trisha Paytas makes him look so much more likable. And I think that's like the same thing, like Dick looked great next to Maddox. And that was kind of the propelling force of the entire show. Though I don't know, the earliest episodes of the podcast, like Ethan's kind of like bending over backwards to not offend her, because she's like BPD, and anything he says can set her off. And they even had like a therapist on who was like this super Jewish LA therapist, and he was like, no, Trisha, you're actually totally gender non-binary, you're actually a man, and those feelings of masculinity you have are totally valid. It basically means that you're like a man on the inside. And Trisha Paytas is like, oh my god, I know, I've always felt like a boy on the inside, which means I'm kind of non-binary and trans. And then Ethan Klein says anything about this, the doctor says, no, Ethan Klein, you're bad and awful and stupid, and Trisha Paytas is glorious, and I want to fuck Trisha Paytas. And that's like the interaction that this doctor has between the two of them. And you just feel terrible for Ethan Klein. And they stopped having the doctor on the show because I think Ethan realized that he looked kind of shitty. He looked kind of like a pussy for having this doctor belittle him so much. So I have two other clips from that hour-long podcast, which are short enough that I can just play and get away with it. This is after they completed their Jewish trivia. Surprise, Ethan Klein, the Jew, wins. Actually, the more surprising thing about that is the entire time Trisha Paytas is talking about how much she loves Jesus, and she's even sang a song about how much she loves Jesus, and she keeps calling herself like a Jew for Jesus. She's like a convert. She's like a Jewish convert for her husband, Moses, who is Hila, Ethan Klein's wife's brother, and she's converting from Moses. And she's already calling herself a Jew for Jesus. So I don't know if they're trying to fix that along the way, but that's like a bit of an impediment with her converting to Judaism. Anyways, he says, not bad for a goy.
Okay.
All right, we're coming up on 2 hours. We should really wrap it up.
So give me the final tally here, Ian.
10 to 6.
Not bad for a goy.
Huh?
Not bad for a goy.
A goy?
A non-Jew.
I'm a they. Is goy girl?
No, it's just
Oh my God, derogatory.
Is it derogatory?
Yeah, a little bit. Damn. Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty
can
sure
be kind of
that's
said in a
I'm sure it doesn't mean a good
way,
thing.
but-
Like, ooh, look at that great goy over there. Yeah, that's mean too. People said that to be mean.
Well, you are a goy.
Well, you're.
And clearly, based on final score, you're goy as
This
it
is like
gets.
the first time you actually legit.
Girl, you are a goy.
You are a Jew.
Okay, the way she says "you are a," and then it halts, and I can just see in her head like there's a driver, the last brain cell of sanity. He's drinking, he's got a cigarette in his mouth, and he wants to say the K word. He's got the K word. He's like, "Oh fuck, I can lose everything. Don't say the K word." And he throws it from fourth gear into park, and the fucking drive shaft just falls out of the engine. He cuts on the emergency brakes. He's swerving around the K word. He ends up in a fucking ditch, and he's like, "Oh, thank fucking God, I didn't say that."
You are a Jew.
That sounds racist.
You call me a goy, and I can't call you a Jew?
Jew is a tricky word because it both means it is the right word, but it's also an insulting word.
You are a Jewish. Is that better?
That's grammatically incorrect. We'll figure out how to talk.
Jew crazy.
Yeah, I prefer Jew crazy.
Okay.
That was fun.
Yay.
I'm not really.
Okay, now it is fun to watch Ethan Klein just kind of like let this mentally unstable woman humiliate herself. But the other really fun thing about Ethan is that he continuously showcases to people how conniving he is. He is extremely money conscious. Like if she says something like, "Oh, I like to give money away to these kinds of people," he's like, "No, don't do that. Don't give money away ever. Always be on top of your money. Always conserve money. Don't be afraid to not give people money." And he has like little droplets of advice like that throughout the show, which makes me laugh. But I think of all the accidental Ethan Klein slips of being a little bit too honest and too true to form, this is probably my favorite one so far.
Yeah, do it. If you do it at the hospital, that's a fine way to have a baby.
Trisha wants to have a kid.
Okay.
They're talking about... this does need a little bit of backstory. Moses, her fiance, who is the brother of Ethan Klein's wife, he has an obsession with water, which is very ironic because Moses, part of the Red Sea, he likes water photography, and he's obsessed with water. He's a bit of like a neurotic person, just obsessed with water. So she wants to have a water birth and just give birth in a tub at a hospital or something. So they're talking about that, and Ethan Klein, and the topic of circumcision comes up, because of course it does, and Ethan Klein lets on a little bit too much.
Yeah, do it. If you do it at the hospital, that's a fine way to have a baby.
Okay.
But regardless, that doesn't affect the outcome of the circumcision.
Right.
I would have a doctor do it.
Yeah, for sure. No,
Rabbis fucking don't know what they're doing.
You want to do it?
And where did you extrapolate that? No.
Oh, okay.
No, rabbis are like suck off the baby.
You can watch them do it, obviously, so they don't do that.
But they're just not trained professionals. Like a lot of times they'll mangle the kid's dick.
Okay.
I would just
Maybe we'll just have girls.
at the hospital. They're really they know how to.
You're
do
an
it.
advocate for the hospital. I respect.
A little bit too honest. I really appreciated that detail. The entire end of that stream is hilarious because they're just talking about, like, he has to. I don't know. I don't think he cares anymore. The way he talks in his demeanor is, I think he has some kind of beef with Israel and Orthodox Jews, and he probably does because Ethan Klein is a Reform Jew, and Israeli Jews are more Orthodox. The Hasidics, like the getup he's wearing, that's not his Judaism. He's not Orthodox. And they don't want Reform Jews. The Orthodoxes don't in Israel. So I think he does have a legit beef. And there's a story in there that I didn't clip where he's talking about how he went to Israel to marry Hila, who is Israeli, and she has she served in the IDF. That's why there's this wonderful clip which I'm going to play right now. This is his wife. This is a drawing of his wife, allegedly. So he went to Israel to marry her, and they had a little bit of a difficulty finding or arranging their marriage in Israel, because he is Reform Jew, and Israel does not recognize Reform Jews. So he says in the podcast that he had to find a Orthodox rabbi in Israel that would allow him to bribe him so that he would sign off that Ethan Klein was a member of his synagogue, his congregation, and so that the state of Israel would recognize him as a Jew and allow them to marry Hila and Ethan Klein. So I don't think Ethan really likes Israel all that much because he holds a grudge against him. Anyways, that's my guilty pleasure. I like to watch this fat, obnoxious porn star who doesn't shut the fuck up ever, and this conniving Jew talk to each other for 2 hours, lobbing accidental truths every so often. I hope that's turned you on to it. Just so you know, this is probably going to be a long stream, so I have a couple pee break videos lined up. Speaking of Israel, we're gonna have war with Iran. Just breaking news. Zero Hedge says that an Iranian container ship was hit by explosives in the Mediterranean, and this comes right after Israel saying that it was willing to escalate militarily against Iran without the U.S.'s permission. So I don't know. I'm getting really excited for World War III. I hope everyone else is, but for the time being, we'll just enjoy our peace. These are my little grab bag news stories that I have to start the stream off with. I like this one. I noticed that Amazon had changed its logo, and for some reason, I guess the little curly fry texture of the thingy of the packaging was too much like a mustache. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, Amazon is signaling that it's Hitler." And so they changed it to like this Band-Aid looking one instead. And it really does speak to the mental shattering of the West. I thought when I read this article, I'm like, oh my God, the West has been playing that Among Us, like, imposter is sus recognition game for like 80 fucking years. Any square over a curve, that's Hitler. That's basically Hitler. And it's a problem, and you got to fix it. It's like, we've been doing this for fucking decades now because we're all like mind raped. I like this too. So there was a big deal when this happened that Grandpa Joe Biden brought some puppies to the White House, and everyone rejoiced. Everyone said, "Hey, this is great. We haven't had dogs in the White House throughout Blump's entire regime. So now we finally have some good old-fashioned pupperinos, heckin' pupperinos in the White House." And all these posts flooded to the news section of Reddit, and got tens of thousands of upvotes about the pupperinos. And then the dog mauled someone. It like bit the fuck out of a Secret Service agent or something. So they had to remove the dog from the White House because it was aggressive. And suddenly from the Our Politics moderators, we're not going to litigate other posts to explain yours. The incident isn't directly and explicitly related to current U.S. politicking. So therefore, no one is allowed to mention now that Joe Biden's dog is an aggressive mutt that fucking mauled his Secret Service agent. And just a little bit of funny hypocrisy. What's this right here? Oh, I also just saw this right before the stream. This is a petition. This is a user, like a citizen-created petition to the Parliament of the United Kingdom. And I'm not going to be talking about the Meghan shit. I don't care. They're all rich bastards. Just briefly, I guess. Prince Harry and his Latina wife are bitching to Oprah that the Queen is racist. And that's why the Queen does not want their disgusting quadroon baby to be the King of England at any point, no matter what happens. And they sob into their millions of dollars, and they live at this LA estate, and Prince Harry begs Bob Iger of Disney to give her a voice acting job, which he did. So, boo fucking who. She's only a multi-millionaire by association as opposed to like a billionaire, which she obviously deserves because she's so strong. Oh yeah. Oh, she's half Latino, half black, so it's like a disgusting octoroon octoroon and then octoronino baby. Just horrific. A genuine 56% disgrace to the crown. So she's crying that she's not a billionaire like she should be because she's so base and POC'd and strong woman, etc. Anyways, they're petitioning in England to the parliament. Petition, make verified ID a requirement for opening a social media account. Make it a legal requirement when opening a new social media account to provide a verified form of ID where the account belongs to a person under the age of 18 to verify the account with a parent or guardian. So they're saying not just for kids. You need verified ID for the account, and then you also need additional form for under 18 people from the parents to prevent anonymized harmful activity, providing traceability if an offense occurs. More details. Oh, I didn't even see this. My son Harvey is disabled. He is also the kind and gentle son of a person regularly in the public eye. The online harms bill doesn't go far enough in making online abuse a specific criminal offense and doing what Harvey's law intended. So she already has a law for her fucking retard kid, and she wants a second law. She wants Harvey's Law 2 to be introduced. To make the law work needs the removal of anonymity to ensure that users cannot harm by using online platforms to abuse others. Where an offense has taken place, they ought to be easily identified and reported to the police and punished. We have experienced the worst kind of abuse towards my disabled son and want to make sure that no one can hide behind their crime. Sign this petition, 127,000 signatures out of 100,000 required. Parliament will consider this for debate. Parliament considers all petitions that get more than 100,000 signatures for debate. The government will respond. So, good looking out for you, England. I hope all. I'm glad. I'm glad that I offer Tor because you guys are all gonna get fucking banned off social media and put in like tranny rape prison with all the Muslims, and you can still post on the Kiwi Farms if you have Tor installed or Brave. Actually, speaking, I'm gonna be shilling crypto later in the evening. Don't you worry. Some water here. Grab bag. Note number 4. Tranny estrogen. So, life-altering, body-changing medication sold for $46 in a box, marketed like a hollow-foil Charizard card, featuring lolicon/Shadowcon characters, and stating, keep out of reach of parents on the side, promoted by weirdos who definitely talk to kids, and the LGBTQIA+ plus discords. When you order estrogen, and it looks like it came straight from the weed shop. And I said lolicon/Shadowcon because that's supposed to look like a little girl, but in the context of this, I guess it's a little boy that's just like doped up on estrogen. Directions for use 0.18 milliliter every 5 days. Keep away from direct sunlight, heat, and moisture. And then it doesn't show in the screen cap that I have. This tweet's been deleted. Keep out of reach of parents. Oh no, you wouldn't want your parents to find out that you're irreparably damaging your body. That could cause an awkward conversation. The number of people who like actively defended this, by the way, was astounding. And I guess we're gonna be talking about the super straight stuff later, so I'll save it for then, my tirade. But I mean, it's just shocking how many people think like, yeah, we need children to be feminized with hormones at like as early an age as possible. Really is quite sad. Oh, and the one guy who replied to me, by the way, on this tweet, because this tweet got like shared a couple hundred times and stuff, so it got like outside attention. People who don't follow me replied to it. And the guy who replied, who wasn't one of my followers and who was in favor of this, said something like, good, and we just need to reduce the price. You know, we got to make sure that this estrogen bottle is more readily available to people who have low income or need to steal their parents' credit card and not have the charge be noticed, right? And I checked his profile on Twitter, and it was nothing but porn. All dick girl porn. Straight fucking Coomer Twitter account on the patrol to make sure that little boys can get estrogen at an affordable rate. Oh, jeez. Moving along, guys. What's this? Oh, okay. So I haven't talked about Ralph for a bit, and that's because his mom's been sick, and it's like, ah, fuck it. I already have enough bad karma. I should shut up and not invoke any more bad karma by making fun of people who are grieving. But now, as far as I'm aware, his mom is doing just fine, so it's safe to make fun of Ralph again. What are you doing about the being completely broke and begging for rent money online disorder? He shoots at Digibro, who is unrecognizable to even his serious older fans at this point, who said, drinking to cope with the weed addiction, smoking to cope with the eating disorder to cope with the gender dysphoria. Picture of an anime girl. So, I don't know what happened between Ralph and Digibro, where they're shooting shots at each other now, because Ralph did the whole "I'm fucking your ex" type thing already, so something happened, and May doesn't seem to be around them at all. So God fucking knows. As far as I know, with Digibro, he's still in that camper van with Riley and the mentally ill mint salad chick. But I don't want to say too much more about Digibro or Riley. I made my offer last time. He has to dump mint salad on the side of the road in Utah. And then I'll buy a fucking shirt of his. The other thing that's interesting about Ralph this week is that he got banned from Streamlabs. And if you don't know, Streamlabs is the one that runs like the PayPal donation page for like the little jingle showing up on your screen saying that someone donated $5 with this message. Oh, okay. So someone they started beefing because Digibro was invited to an after party at the Dick Show, and he didn't want Ralph there. So Ralph was not invited to the after party at the Dick Show thing in Miami. So he, I guess because Ralph was having sex with May at the time, he was butthurt about it. So now they're beefing. As the story goes, Ralph makes a new fucking enemy out of everyone all the time, including Streamlabs, as I said. So Streamlabs is it's like they offer a bunch of little like things to put on your stream to add animations, and it's particularly when someone donates. If you're ever watching a stream cap and there's like a thing that brings up and it says like Joe donated $5 and it had a message and then it has like the anime voice read the message, that's Streamlabs, and it collects money for you and pays out. So the fact that he hasn't been banned from Streamlabs already is actually kind of fucking shocking. But Stream Elements just banned me after 2 years on their service, after they made thousands off me for zero work or effort. No warnings, nothing. I'm dedicating myself to shitting on them for the rest of my life. It's just the most impotent threat ever made. And he says he wants to go the Gab route, which is fair. I mean, people mail me checks. Time to start mailing cashier's checks to your P.O. box. Dead Serious about to start promoting that. But here, this is the email that got sent to Streamlabs from someone named Jonathan Goldberg, which I really don't think is the real email. Thank you for, or his real name. Thank you for investigating. He has been known to do this before, which is why he was kicked off YouTube. He made the front page of the Wall Street Journal, no less doing so, about hate speech on live super chats. They say his original email cites their terms of service and shit. Holocaust denier and anti-Semitic. E. Michael Jones, that was one of his guests. Non-exhaustive list of videos featuring him. So he's been on multiple times, complaining about Richard Spencer, complaining about David Duke, who is a former Klansman and governor of, I want to say he was a governor of Alabama. Either Alabama or Georgia, I'm pretty sure. But he was also in the KKK. David Christopher Knoll, Andrew Anglin, Daily Stormer guy. Just a big list of naughty people that he's had on his stream. And Streamlabs says, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Goldberg. We'll take care of that right away." I'm honestly shocked that it didn't happen before. If I had fucking jingles on my stream that said like, "Ooh, whatever, kitten lady 555 donated $5. Thanks, Josh," or whatever, that would be fucking like gone immediately. It would just be taken. So really, a person like him in his situation with his content and the known threats that he faces and the people he knows are going after him every day, the fact that he got to enjoy this tipping thing for 2 years, that's like a thing to be thankful for. Like, oh, I'm glad that it lasted this long. I'm glad that my Patreon's still up. But instead, he's going to bloviate about how they made an enemy for life. Like, are you going to do the same when Patreon kicks you off? Because that's going to fucking happen eventually. Count your fucking blessings. What are you going to do when Twitter bans you? Where are you going to tweet or post or whatever about how Twitter just made... What does that mean? It's just such a sad and empty threat. Like, I just imagine Ralph thinking he's Samsung. He's got his arms up and his guns hanging out, and he's crushing the pillars of the banks on top of him. Like, I'll show you, Streamlabs, you motherfucker, suck my dick. And it's just really sad. Anyways. Oh, that sticks. That's for later. Yeah, the YouTube thing, I guess I'll talk about. Actually, I don't think I have a thing for this. I do want to point out that the guy who called The Big Short, like the guy who made the predictions that the movie The Big Short was based off of, has claimed with some merit that the U.S. is going to face hyperinflation very soon. And I believe him. I think that there's a lot of signs that things are going to go bad really fast, right? I don't want to dwell on it. I'm not like an economist. But I'm buying Bitcoin, not necessarily Core. I am buying some Core, even though it's extremely expensive right now. I just think that it's going to get more expensive. My two picks are Bitcoin Core. I like Tezos, and I like XMR, which is harder to find because it's a privacy coin. And I like BAT, which is the Brave token. And I think that people, I would suggest to my family, and I have, to buy Bitcoin, because I think that their 401ks are going to be worthless. And don't spend more than you can afford to lose, I guess. That's the advice. Don't spend more than you can afford to lose. But as my stream friends, as my audience, I feel obligated in some way to say I think things are about to go tits up. I just feel it in my bones. I feel the doom coming. So, what's the point? I'm always wrong. Okay, hedge against me. If you think I'm always wrong, then you put everything that you have, liquidate it into fiat because it's about to deflate, and you're gonna be super rich holding on to American dollars. Go for it if you think I'm wrong. But I don't know. And I get a bad sense, so I'm out. I'm going to remove everything that I can from U.S. dollars, basically. That's all I have to say about that. BuyBitcoinWorldwide.com is the site that has like good resources about how to purchase crypto. And the one coin I really like is called XMR, Monero. And that's the hardest one to buy. I think only Kraken has it. It's hard to get because it doesn't have a public ledger, and it's harder for feds to trace where money. It's impossible for feds to trace where money goes in XMR. So I think, especially if there is some kind of government crisis, that's going to be a very popular coin. And I say that because this happened recently, and this is like a strange thing to me. Is the YouTube tax, which is not YouTube taxing anyone. It's an IRS mandate. But basically, if you are a YouTube creator and you are outside the U.S., any money, any AdSense revenue that's generated by people inside the U.S. is now going to be taxed by the U.S. And unless your country has tax exemptions for foreign tax paid, you're going to have to pay double taxes on your YouTube income. And that's interesting for a couple reasons. For one, I think that this is indicative that the U.S. is hurting for money. Number two, I think that this is indicative that the U.S. is trying to make it mandatory to pay taxes. I think the U.S. and the IRS are losing voluntary taxpayers. And I think that they're trying to put tax burdens on the companies that they know they can force to pay. If something like 50% of small businesses in the U.S. have gone under in the last year, and they're not going to come back. If they can put the entire U.S. workforce under things like Uber Eats, and I don't know what you call those apps where you just like work as much as you want and you get paid for it. It's not, you're not an employee of Uber, but they want to make it so that everyone has to work for as few companies as possible. If everyone worked for a Fortune 500 company, then the IRS had 500 entities they have to police for tax purposes, as opposed to the millions that they'd have to police if people had to voluntarily pay their taxes. So I think the government wants to make it so that people don't have a choice but to pay taxes through fewer and fewer companies. And then number 3, I think that the YouTube tax and taxing online revenue for foreign nationals like this in general is going to prompt overseas competition. You know what I mean? Because why, if you know, Europeans and Canadians, they really don't like the U.S. People don't like the U.S. So they're sitting there thinking like, you know, I work my ass off making these videos. I make all this money and the U.S. government's taking like a third of it now because most of my viewers are Americans. It's like, I could take that money that I'm spending in taxes and make my own YouTube. And sure, it would get, you know, maybe it would only get 2/3 of the views, but then that would be all money that I get to keep. And I would still, you know, you still have to pay your European taxes, which are high, but you're going to be paying those anyways. So I wouldn't be surprised if this causes overseas competition. You know what I mean? And maybe, I don't know, apparently I'm wrong about everything, but that's just how I feel. So as an apology, before I move on, I have a funny thing to show you after this, I promise, as an apology for talking about money and politics and shit. But before I do that, I have a question. I have a question for first and second generation immigrants in the U.S. right now. And I don't know how I'm going to collect this. I can't really do a YouTube poll for it. But just send me an email, message me on the Fediverse or on Twitter or whatever. If you are a first or second generation immigrant in the U.S., especially if you have family overseas, like in the country that you're from, do you intend to stay in the U.S. for the next 10 years? Because I'm curious to see what sort of loss of skilled immigrants the U.S. is going to experience. Because at what point does it become obvious to people or apparent to people that, you know, I'm not really any better off here than I am back home. I have a friend who's Serbian and he works in the U.S. and his goal right now, he wants to plunder the U.S. for as much money as he can and then bring it back to Serbia, which is probably a smart thing to do. I can't imagine that the U.S. is going to be any better off than Serbia in the next 10 years. So I don't know if that's a common thought. If people from, you know, whatever country, no matter where it is in the world, are thinking, I want to go back to where my grandparents are, and I want to take what I can from the U.S., put it into crypto maybe, and then go home and fuck off. So I can't really harvest responses to that from chat, but I am curious, just, you know, on the thread on the forum and private, let me know. That literally kept me awake last night, wondering about that. Okay, let's see. Now is the time. I've watched a minute of this video, and it was very funny. And I thought, you know, I should watch the entire thing on stream and react genuinely to it. So this is a genuine first impressions of this video after the first minute. Assuming I didn't lose it. Oh, there it is.
Hi bitches, what's good? I'm back with another video, and today's video is gonna be a fucking crazy one. Today's video is gonna be a
okay, I forgot already how funny this was. Hey bitches, followed by this fucking gay list.
doozy, because we are in fact talking about Kiwi Farms. If you don't know what Kiwi Farms, it is a internet forum. It is a forum board site, kind of like 4chan. Really weird, really like super like deep into the internet type of fucking people on here. So right here, what we got, it says Kiwi.
I'm just gonna say, the way he said internet sounded lowercase I, so I to be consistent, I have to point that out.
Farms, formerly known as Quickie Forums. I think that's some shit. It has to do with Christine Weston Chandler, who's a fucking trans woman who made a fucking comic book about a It's like a Pikachu Sonic. It's really fucking weird, but it's also some interesting stuff. There's like a docu-series that's like fucking like 60 parts long. I've watched some episodes of it. It is actually really crazy, but it's also really fucked up. But anyways, moving on, is an American internet forum dedicated to the discussion of online figures and communities. It deems locals, which is basically like a person that can be milked for laughter, like LOL Cal, you know what I mean? It makes sense. The targets of threads are often subject to doxing and other forms of organized group trolling, such as ongoing harassment, stalking, including real-life harassment by users. Now, I've definitely heard this. I've had people tell me that they dox and...
What game is he playing? Is that League of Legends first-person shooter? Which was I played one round of that game and shut it off because it was fucking horrific. I think that's what this is. I downloaded the game, I played it, and I cannot remember the interface or any of the characters to save my fucking life. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, though.
Stalk and will harass these users in real life, that they have in fact driven trans women to commit fucking suicide, and that they have harmed trans women in real life. According to the site's rules, like, that's not supposed to be a thing, so it's probably just like individual group members acting on their own. But I mean, honestly, if they were gonna be doing some shit like this, they're gonna put in the rules not to, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I did actually infiltrate their site.
He infiltrated it. This is a post by Janae Rose. I'll read. I have infiltrated Kiwi Farms to make a video on the site. They're posting shit about me and talking about me right now. I'm a little nervous, but this is going to be a really cool video. The shit I do to get content for y'all, rolling eyes.
And I was posting, talking to some people. I ended up getting fucking banned, which is crazy. But they basically told me that I got banned because, like, I'm not fucking, like, I'm too normal, basically. Like, I'm not fucking weird. And, like, yeah, there's, like...
This is the exact moment I cut this video off thinking, okay, I have to watch this live. I'm actually curious. I have to look up what they got banned for. I'll let it play a little bit.
Some fucking people on there that like are trans that are allowed to be on there because they're batshit crazy. Like, one of the persons that has like their own like thread is named like Tommy or some shit, like some crazy fucking pedo. Like, I don't know. They seem really unhinged.
Tommy Tudor is not a indicative member of the community, but sure, that's fair, I guess. He is technically a community member. Okay, the mod that banned him is ADHD. And says, new account, power leveling for attention whoring purposes. Okay.
But yeah, they're allowed to be on there because they're a locale or whatever the fuck. But like, I'm too normal, and like people, like, honestly, despite me being fucking trans and shit, people are low-key fucking with me because like I'm like charismatic and shit. So yeah, so I did get banned, but from talking to people, definitely like some people, like, it's just fun for them. Like, they're not have any like bad intentions. They don't want to like physically harm no one. They don't want to harass nobody in real life, and they actually like call people out that do that shit. But definitely probably some people do. I will say that the site is not only about trans people. It's anyone that they deem a locale, anyone they deem fucking weird and has like a...
Why can't you pronounce lol? Is that a complicated thing to enunciate? Lol? Like a lull in activity? Why is it locale?
Jerk-ass behavior that can be funny as fuck to them. But I actually, when I went on there and I made my whole like profile and shit, I was asking some people if they wanted to help me make this video. Like, I have some questions about why the fuck are y'all so obsessed with trans people? Because that's the thing, is that it's not only trans people, but it's a lot of trans people. And now people will say that that's because trans people tend to fucking act more crazy, more weird or whatever. But I've noticed this with like a lot of groups, like how TERFs, they'll be super fucking obsessed with trans people as well.
Because, okay, well, I have to simmer that down for the super straight discussion.
Anyways, I talked to this one person, and he actually gave me a little bit backstory on how the site was created. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this up on the screen and read it. Here, I'll give you a quick rundown. The site was originally made for Kristen Weston Chandler, which in the last 5 or so years has been pruning out. The site used to have a very sizable lefty population, but some were anti-trans but weren't. Really, the most important stuff was there were several threads made on trans grifters, and it got a reputation by big-time activists and whatever as a transphobic site.
That's actually true. Just to kind of underline what he's saying here. It doesn't show the author, but what happened is, like the first trans thread that we have was like on people like ADF, just like absolute nut jobs, freaks of nature. And then we noticed that there were people in ADF's circle who were very similar to ADF. The big one is the person I did a stream on a long time ago, Trans Lifeline, and Greta Gustava and Nina Chabot. And they were psychotic, violent people who enabled ADF to be a nuisance on their community. And Greta Gustava pulled every string that he had to make the forum a known anti-trans hate organization. And this kind of manifested the site into being that, because all these people came out the fucking woodworks, like that the Google tranny who had the Adam Robert Bizarre chin, and the snake who like to tie up their arms and walk around thinking like, oh, I'm a trans snake with his arms tied in public while being led around on a leash. Those people all came around because they supported Trans Lifeline. And that's sort of like, I don't know, I guess, isn't there like an expression about you pick your own enemies or something? Choose the form of your destructor. Like that's like the real life equivalent of that.
This, of course, led to an uptick of actual transphobic people. There were also many waves of right-wing politics, mostly due to Null's political views. In 2019,
that's bullshit.
There also was a big leak
bullshit.
of emails and IPs that led to many old...
No, I'm offended by that now. What happened is I was one of the few people who correctly predicted that Trump would win in 2016. And a lot of people made fun of me horrifically for that in 2016. But what happened is after 2016, it's like everything changed. And I think a lot of people who had left-leaning politics just sort of fizzled out. You know what I mean? Like they either went quiet or stopped talking about politics because they were depressed or whatever. And like I didn't force anyone to believe anything ever. Never.
Members leaving the forum. So that's where we are today. If you look hard enough, you can find old stuff where the majority of people in a thread are pro-trans individuals. Also, quite a few older moderators and admins were trans. Go on Onion Farms and check the KF moderator thread. So I was actually gonna go on Onion Farms and look at all this stuff and see what the fucking deal was, but I didn't do that. So I feel like I have enough here. I'm actually really surprised and impressed that this started with a bunch of lefties and there was actually pro-trans individuals. Now, we definitely know that Republicans...
There are still pro-trans people. I mean, one of our site administrators is Yawning Sneasel, who I think has a trans body count in the double digits at this point. I don't know if I'm supposing that counts as being pro-trans because they're all fetishist, right? So if you fuck a tranny, you're the most pro-trans person that there are. All these other trannies and women and men are oh yeah, we support trans rights, bro. But then the tranny comes up to the pro-trans girl and is hey, you want to have lesbians together? And she's no, I'm not attracted to trans people. And it's well, that's fucking transphobic. So Yawning Sneasel is more pro-trans than any leftist lesbian who won't have sex with trans people is advocating for trans rights.
Fucking conservatives are a virus and they have nothing better to do because they have sad, pathetic lives. They are sad, pathetic people, and they're low IQ. So what they do is they'll fucking anything that's slightly seen as anti-trans, they'll fucking flock to that shit and they'll make that shit a fucking whole ass Nazi fucking party. It's really crazy. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool. So the main place on Kiwi Farms where they talk about trans people is under a tab that says Community Watch. Now under this...
What? If you... There's a forum called Rat King that's specifically about trannies.
There's many different communities that it's literally what it says. They watch these communities, fucking stalk them, and then talk shit about members.
Look, I thought on TikTok. The biggest trans community on the internet.
Members from these communities or just...
And Comicsgate and MGTOW. MGTOW is trans community because they all turn out anyways, right? So that's technically true.
Happenings that's going on with certain communities. And as you can see, the one which is the transgender community watch is literally like the biggest, most popular one. You can see the numbers on the far right, which is insane. Beyond this, there's individual trans people that they deem worthy enough to actually have their own thread. Some that we know, Blair White, Jessica Unive, they'll put their dead name and other shit. It says fuck.
Does he not think that Jessica Yaniv is worthy of ridicule? I guess Yaniv is a beautiful woman who only needs a firefighter to break in with his axe and lay Yaniv down and says, "My princess, are you okay?" And Yana will be like, "Shalom Koyam, I need my cave plundered." And then the firefighter will take him there and consummate the Neogina.
Fucking Fagatron. It says fucking Fagatron where fucking Blair White shit is. That shit had me laughing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this bitch, some fucking like LGBT Decepticon or some shit. Yeah, that shit funny. And then here, I'll just show like a bunch more. I don't know who the fuck these people are. These are like the really crazy people. These aren't the people that have like any sort of notoriety. Like, if you have notoriety, they'll 100% talk about you. If you're trans, they'll fucking talk about you. Like, they talk about Blair all the time. It's insane. But yeah, so fucking...
I just want to say that trannies on the right are really gross, and they're still fetishists, and Blair White especially. Like, that whole story about being sex trafficked and turned as like a little kid into a woman is like, oh. Actually, I think I'm confusing them with the other one. I forget what they're called. Whatever, they're all freaks. I really, I try to be nice and stuff. People message me, and it's like, I'm sorry, I realize that, you're all fucky wucky, and I feel bad for you and stuff, but like, I don't want to be associated with you.
Look at all these. All of these are
Lilith
singular trans people.
Who I was thinking
what
of.
they do in here, I'm not going to post it. You can go see what the fuck it is for yourself. But they will just like break down this person's whole ass backstory, where they fucking live, where they work, what kind of fucking cookies they like to eat, their favorite ice cream, their favorite book, their favorite movie. You know what I mean? Like, really weird shit. And then beyond that, they'll fucking dox them. They'll put their like address and everything. It's really crazy. They just obsess over these people and like talk about them. Like, it's a thread for one person.
I snapped.
Y'all know they whole life story.
I have the sassy snap. No one can be as sassy as me, chow.
It's insane. So in the process of me interacting with people on this forum and talking to them, trying to understand the obsession with trans people, they actually started to target me. Like, not to the same degree as these other people, but they digged up some shit about me, some shit about my videos. They found all the shit about the label, the distribution label that I was signed to. I'm unfortunately not signed to that anymore. They did in fact shut down because of the pandemic. But yeah, they found a lot of shit, and yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just like post some shit on the screen as you've seen, but I'm not gonna fucking like read it all out and shit. Now, this whole situation is something that really interests me. Like, it's really interesting to me seeing people do this and discuss trans people in such detail. Like, you could spend your life doing anything. There's so many things in this world, but you choose to sit and be on a computer and talk about a tranny. I mean, I don't really get it. Like, it's entertaining to a lot of these people. Like, what my general like understanding from interacting with these people and being on here is that most people, it's just fucking jokes, and this is how they get their rocks off. A lot of people have actually had negative experiences with trans people. They have known people that are trans that have like hurt them, that have like stopped being friends with them because of one reason or another. And so like there's a lot of that there, and that's why these people are on there just hating on trans people. It's like, honestly, people don't work for their issues. It's easier to just like fucking like,
this would be the appropriate thing to ask. If you're gonna ask people like, what do you get out of this? The answer wouldn't be like, I was so hurt by a trans. I tried to fuck a trans woman one time. She said, no, I don't date Trump voters, and then I cried myself to sleep. Like, that's not the reaction that you're gonna get. But I guess it's a more comforting thought than reality.
Do this, then like look at yourself and realize, hey, why do I hate this person or whatever? And the thing is that always like amazed me, even with like actual trans people, is that whenever a trans person is weird, it seems to be like a bigger issue. Like, trans people were constantly like, trans medicalists mainly will constantly talk about like, oh, like trenders and like, oh, these trans people are so fucking weird and crazy, that's why the Republicans hate us. And like, you know what I mean? And TERFs, they'll especially like, they'll obsess over weird trans people for some reason there are a lot of like autistic trans people, so that's another thing. They fucking call them autistic and
some
talk
reason.
about that. But it's interesting to me because, you know, there's weird people that are cis too, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like, man, like, it's like different when it's trans.
But it's not. We have thousands of threads, and a lot of them are about people who are straight and just weird. Yeah, it's like a weird thing to bring up because I think that trans are statistically overrepresented in the forum. I'm sure that it's way more than like 1% of threads are about trans people, but no, to say that we don't make fun of in equal amounts or more people who are straight, that's just wrong.
I guess it's because like a lot of people don't really understand. So like they don't really understand like what it means to be trans, why people are trans, and that's a valid thing. That's a scientifically and medically like proven thing. And that like fucking if those institutions support this, if academia supports this, I don't like you don't know anything. You can't say
His
like,
aim
oh,
is
these
shit.
people are crazy and this and that. When
Holy
science
fuck.
is literally saying, hey, like this is a thing and these people exist. So yeah, I just thought this was hella interesting. I might do like some deep dives into the people that they've made whole ass threads on, but I don't know at the moment. Let me know what you think about this shit. I think these people are fucking crazy. I think they're just as fucking weird as the people they talk about. Anyways, peace
That's a
out,
hot
bitches.
take.
Have a good
Never
one.
heard that one before. Oh Jesus. I mean the opening was funnier than the rest of the video, but it's the. To be fair, he did do a better job than most people. Most people just try to be down on the haterade. I think that what's interesting is that in his conclusions, you could kind of see that he looked at stuff, thought like, "Wow, this is weird, and this is different than what I thought it was," and he talks about that for a little bit. But then it gets to the third part of the video, where he has to like wrap up his thoughts, and it takes a while to do that because he's trying to like internally reconcile the fact that it wasn't what he expected, but it's still bad for the reasons that he presupposed it would be anyways. And you can kind of hear him wrestling with that, and I don't know, it's weird. It's funny. It gave me a good laugh. I hope it was funny to you too. Let's see the Andrew Torba stuff. I think we can talk about. I might go for a pee break. I could go for a pee break. I have a video. What video am I going to play? I have a couple lined up so I can take breaks. I drink, stay hydrated during my streams, you know. Here, I'll play this one. It's called Coping, Seething, and Dilating. That's probably true. How long is this one? I do want to play. You know what? I'll play this anyways. I'll play something else.
They say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait. I'll hold on to the wings of the eagles. Watch as we all fly
away. I need something that's a minute long. What do I have? I made a whole list of shit. It's not a minute long. Oh, aha.
What is something we did before COVID that you can't believe we did?
Kind of embarrassed to admit this now, but one of my favorite things to do would be on a Friday night, go to the local strip club and hire all 8 of the strippers there. And I would just line them up while they played one of my favorite songs, Weird Al's Fat. And I would reach into my bag and I would grab a nice big chocolate bar and have them each take a big bite of the chocolate bar and just chew it up until it got nice and liquidy in their mouth. And then I would lay down with my head at the end of pervert row. And then I'd have them each take turns spitting their chocolatey goo into my mouth, into my face, up into my nostrils. And then once I had a nice big mouthful, I would do what I like to call chocolate fountain. And I would just spurt it up into the air like a whale exposing his blowhole. And whichever stripper got the most chocolate on her, I would take that one home and kill and eat her.
I told you I had to go pee. I'm not muted. That's I've seen that video before, so I know what it was. What if he's not? What if he's not lying? What if it's true? What if there's like half-eaten hookers in his basement right now? We'd never know. Oh, I didn't even show this. I'm gonna show this anyways. In response to Stream Elements, Ethan Ralph says, Stream Elements can suck my dick, you motherfuckers just made a very persistent enemy. I'm sure that's going to help with your banking situation, Ralph. Fucking idiot. Let me... Oh, you know what? I have to talk about Gab before I talk about Sticks. So, a couple weeks ago, I want to say during the week I did not stream... Gab was hacked. Maybe it was before. It just was that Gab was hacked, and Andrew Toba made a big post saying that nothing got leaked as far as we know. We've fixed it, and problem solved. Like that, problem solved. And then a bunch of journalists came out and said, like, thousands of people have been doxxed by this Gab leak. And Andrew Torba's like, oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that at all. So, I mean, it's just journos lying to make fun of an alternative social media site they're intimidated by, making fun of us because they hate Jesus. And his Jesus fucking shit has been extremely obnoxious lately. Completely out of nowhere, all of a sudden, every post is Christ is King, fucking Jesus is Lord. You know, they hate us because we're Jesus and all that shit. And then this happened on Monday. And this happened on 170 different accounts, this message, including Andrew Torba's account. This is on the Babylon Bee, this screenshot. I've seen this post live on Andrew Torba's account, and I archived it. So this is not a, this is not fictitious. Dear Andrew, if you value transparency so much, why do you keep lying to your despicable users? The website has been fully compromised last week. 35 million public posts and 3 million private posts. 50,000 email addresses and 7,000 passwords. 831 verification documents that I did not send to DDoS Secrets or anywhere else. Gab users, your leaked verification documents, which the ransom was about, are not even worth 8 bitcoins to them. If you do not care about you, they do not care about you or their 18,000 pro users. Don't worry about it. I just make mosaics. It was so easy to hack you, maybe I'm not the first. Love, Captain Jack Sparrow. P.S. I made 3 mosaics and you catch them all. And then it's a picture of Jack Sparrow, and if you zoom in, it's very obvious to tell that these are hundreds of pictures of people holding up government ID next to their face to verify to Andrew Torba that they are who they say they are for the purposes of verifying their Gab Twitter account. And this guy, who's obviously like a leftist activist hacker, has compromised and stolen all their government IDs, courtesy of Andrew Torba, and Andrew Torba has been lying about it. And he wants 8 Bitcoin, and that's a lot. It's about $400,000 right now. But the thing is that Andrew Torba crowdfunded cryptocurrency to keep Gab afloat years ago. He definitely has more than 8 Bitcoins, and it may be worth it to pay that extortionate amount, but I don't know, you know? Maybe not. Maybe he says we don't negotiate with terrorists, and he's going to let them get all doxxed. And I don't know. Someone has zoomed in on the mosaic, and it's really obvious that it's like all like people in their 40s and 50s who just kind of don't know what's going on, just kind of support Q, people who are clueless to the internet and shit. And Torba's been having a little bit of a mini meltdown, talking about Crisis Kang on Twitter and shit. And just being Torba, just being utterly fucking incompetent. Which led me to making a very smug, gloating post on Twitter to Andrew Torba, or not to Andrew Torba, but to Sticks. And I'll keep this short because I went on too long last time I talked about Sticks. But I said to Sticks, I say, hey Sticks, both of those alternative Twitter sites you told all your fans to join and give their personal information to got hacked and now their info is out there. Are you going to try the Fediverse yet, or are you going to keep trying... Or are you going to keep guzzling retard juice, parentheses, cum? And he replies, on Minds.com, a website I have never used ever. to say, hey, when are you going to stop making a difference? This is him quoting me fictitiously saying, damn it, Sticks, you're making a difference out there, bro. You're sending your fans to get doxxed by Andrew Torba and leftist hackers. You refuse to try something that actually works. When will you give other people a chance to make a difference, Sticks and Hammer? Leave some difference for the rest of us out here to make. And he says, when are you going to render your... This is a literal quote. That was me being Shakespearean. He continues, when are you going to render yourself irrelevant and waste your time on projects nobody gives a damn about? The mainstream media says every alt-tech site is hacked or a honeypot. Glowing dude via Google-made phone on Twitter. So the mainstream media says every alt-tech site is hacked or a honeypot. They were literally hacked. The two sites he's put up there, Gab and Parler, both got hacked. That's not me. The mainstream media says it. That literally fucking happened, which is why he's on Minds, because at that time, Gab was still down while Andrew Torba was investigating the second breach. And then he says, I'm glowing. I don't know if he's like being secretly anti-Semitic and he doesn't know that I'm not Jewish or what. And then he says, made by a phone or a Google-made phone on Twitter. So... And number one, I would have sent this on the Fediverse first and foremost if you were actually on the Fediverse. Number two, Google made phones. So are you advocating Apple? There's two choices. You have two fucking options when it comes to a cellular telephone. Do you want Android or Apple? That's it. And everything requires two-factor authentication now. So you at least need a smartphone capable of doing that. And I was like, what the fuck is he even talking about? And someone explained to me in his thread, and this is not bullshit, this is true, that he leaves his phone at home, and when he needs a mobile camera, he uses an Alienware laptop. He opens it and faces it forward, the webcam, and uses a $5,000 Alienware laptop to record things instead of using a telephone because he doesn't trust them. And apparently, while doing this, he has broken one of his Alienware laptops in the process of using it like a smartphone to record shit. So I don't know how the fuck that's better. I'm really glad I don't ask people for money so that I can buy overpriced bullshit and then smash it using it in a way that's completely retarded to an obvious person. And then he says, or then I reply, I just make fun of him. I'm not going to read my own tweet because that's kind of cringe. It's on Minds, it's on Twitter, it's on the Fediverse. But my point was that why can you not take the L on this? What is it about the Fediverse that is so abhorrent to you that you can't tell people to give it a try? And he's on Minds now, and Minds intends to federate. In fact, I talked about Minds at some point, and they reached out to me and said, we're looking to federate. Do you know any people who know about the Fediverse and have experience working with it? And I asked Crunk, and he had a name, and I forwarded the name, and hopefully he got the job, and hopefully Minds is on the way to being federated. But if this fucking idiot ever ends up on the appropriate solution to this crushing censorship of centralized services like Gab and MyForum and whatever, or on Twitter, on Facebook, that the fix is the Fediverse. And if Minds ends up on it, it's not because Styx had some precognition that would be the appropriate thing to do. He just wanted another centralized service. And I don't fucking know why. I don't know what it is that's compelling this guy to seek out the wrong answer. If he does end up on the Fediverse, quote me fucking now, as a result of Minds federating, he's going to say that he knew it and it was his idea and he was so smart and the Fediverse was the greatest fucking thing ever made. And it's going to be really frustrating and I'm going to be butthurt about it when it happens. Mark my fucking words. I'm going to be upset. Anyways, that's enough of that. I don't want to talk about my Twitter beef for too long. Let us talk about AFPAC, which happened, it feels like forever ago. It happened the Saturday after my last stream. So literally the day after the last time I streamed, that Saturday, the furthest point of time since my last stream possible, this happened. And I'm just going to go over the highlights because that's what I know about it anyways. It started off with these stickers being posted around Orlando saying, kill your local groiper. And it has the, forget the name of the perk. It's a perk from Fallout New Vegas called unnecessary violence or whatever. It just makes people explode, gives you a little bit more damage. Anyways, it's gory and it's threatening. So that's how it started off. This is not really. Oh, these are attendees. These are some fine women attending Nick Fuentes' conference in Orlando. Yeah, actually, whatever, average-looking 40-year-olds or whatever. But then on the left is someone I dare not speak the name of. Someone. I have a role on my Discord server for people who post pictures of Brittany Venti, who is stinky and who offends me when I see her. But dare not anyone ever post pictures of Laura Loomer and her dirty bloomers, because she is, without exaggeration, barring anyone disfigured or missing a chromosome or being otherwise actually physically disabled in some way, Laura Loomer is, without exaggeration, the ugliest natal woman I have ever seen. She is visually appalling on a deep psychological level. She is nauseating to look at. Just a horrific visage of a person, a caricature of ugly. And but she attended Nick Fuentes' AFPAC. Quite the honor, quite the prestigious occurrence. Okay, this is my favorite thing about the entire thing. Nick Fuentes gets up there, and I don't know what the fuck it is with the red lights. He looks like he's in a David Lynch movie or something, and he's got on the banners printed out, hoisted for everyone to see, without twice. So this was printed multiple times, hung up multiple times. It was designed, sent to the printer, printed, hung up, and at no point in the process did anyone related to AFPAC realize that it says America First Political Action Conference 2021 with spelled incorrectly, political with no I, and I don't understand how that can happen. The tickets for this event, by the way, I don't have this pulled up, but the tickets for this event range from like $100 each to $10,000 each. And at $10,000, you got to go to his mom's house and see his basement studio. So there are people who paid $10,000 to see this guy who got a political action conference. Oh, it's $10,000 for the full Nick Fuentes escort service. You get to be shown around the block a little bit. You get to be shown his studio. You get to see where he keeps the cat paraphernalia, the catboy dungeon. Here's an example of a guest that did appear, actually. Paul Gozer, representing Arizona's 4th District. So I think he is an active congressman. Standing with Israel. This is Paul Gozer, a AFPAC speaker. As our strongest ally in the Middle East, it is in the vital interest of the United States to stand together with Israel against a rising tide of extremism. Our two nations must show the courage necessary to thwart terrorist organizations like ISIS and to make the hard choices necessary to ensure peace. I have also fought against any attacks on the sovereignty of Israel coming from within our own government. There's an update on this, but you see this and you think, okay, Nick Fuentes is really fucked up. I get that he wanted like actual politicians to like christen his speaking event as like an actual serious big boy political thing. But this is a misstep. This guy says he tunes into AFPAC and the groypers in the live audience as women are approaching on stage to give their speeches at this very serious political rally are chanting mommy, which is a really, that's the exact opposite of a big boy political rally thing. It's like a infantile, but whatever. It's the year 2021. We can't judge people about things like this. Okay, he says, I wish there was a better source than armpit cream. But Steve King says he has no clue what kind of event he's at, and is citing the fucking Jews' origin story and Judeo-Christian values. And that is a thing. It was mentioned multiple times that we are a Judeo-Christian society, and the Groypers, who did not get to attend the event, who had other things to spend their $100 on, were relegated to poll, where they said King is almost as cringe as Malcolm. Not gonna lie, Nick Bros, this is bad. Judeo-Christianity, fingers crossed he doesn't say Judeo-Christian again. Judeo-Christian is a 20th century rhetorical invention. Judeo-Christian support the Confederate flag. I'm so confused, bros. Man, that Judeo thing at the start really killed the crowd for this speech. This fucking guy doesn't know where he's at. Free enterprise capitalism, Judeo-Christian. To all the Groypers out there who don't want to be an alt-Republican, where the speakers all up in the video, all up on the live streams, Jewin, then coming to the NJP. I like this screen grab. I'm going to assume in good faith that this picture is completely unediting. This is an actual exact. This is a moment of time captured in its glory. And I realize that some people like Nick Fuentes. I'm sorry. Okay, I get it. He's punching way up. He's trying his best. He's trying to make a big boy political rally. Things are really fucking hard right now. As someone, if you're someone on the far right who wants to install a fascist government in the United States, now is probably not the easiest time to do so, right? But when I saw this, it kind of reminded me of the Trump potato meme that he posted quite a bit when Trump was starting to fall out of favor after he failed. I stick the turning point of people turning against Trump right after he failed the chicken with the government. Right at the start of the tax season. I think it was in 2018, where he did the government shutdown and then relented to Nancy Pelosi for completely unknown reasons. And I think, I mentioned this on stream before, but I really think at that time, the IRS said, look, this is all fun and games. You had a great run. You really did. You really surprised us by how much you did. But you have to start the government again because tax season is coming up. And if we don't get our fucking taxes, we're going to make Trump as synonymous with misfortune as Kennedy is. And he's like, okay, I guess we're going to do that then. And the government went back up. And that's around the time that the Trump potato memes started happening. And Trump basically became a lame duck president who went back on all of his promises. And Trump was the president of funny. And when the joke became Trump to his own audience, that's when things went bad. And I feel that way with Nick Fuentes. He was the funny party. He was the Groypers going to the very serious Republican conventions and causing problems and making their speakers cry on fucking Twitter about being trolled by frog people, right? That was funny. But when the joke becomes Nick Fuentes, he's in some deep shit because those people will turn on him really fast for the next person who makes them laugh. Oh, and as I mentioned, the guy whose profile I read, he backtracked on the event. So it's the 26th. The next day, he came out and said, no, I love Israel, I promise. I want to tell you, I denounce what we talk about white racism. That's not appropriate. He says, when we talk about white racism, that's not... Okay, whatever. Fuck this guy. Fuck all these people. So that's the AFPAC update. Is this the appropriate time? Oh, I meant to play this during the Gab bit. What an idiot I am.
Anti-Semitic platforms like Gab have no place in Texas and certainly do not represent Texas values. What does represent Texas values is legislation like this by Representative King and Representative Coburn that fights anti-Semitism in Texas.
Look, I really don't think that there's a better image to sum up American politics. I think this is perfect. This is perfect. If you're only listening, I guess I have to describe this for people, but there are 3 flags. I like flags. I pay special attention to flags, and I have an upcoming segment about flags. But I want to take a brief flag detour right now and talk about the 3 flags that I see in front of me. I see the proud flag of the state of Texas, which not only is the proud, easily identified state flag of Texas, which obviously pays great tribute to the American flag in its design and colors. It used to be a national sovereign flag. That flag used to fly over the country of Texas. Then on the far left, we have the American flag in gold trim, which means that it's a maritime flag and that it doesn't apply to sovereign citizens, right? And then right next to the American flag, right draped directly behind a nice young man in a dark gray suit, is the Israeli flag, as this nice Republican governor talks about how he's going to outlaw anti-Semitism in Texas. Anyways, let me take a sip. We got something coming up. The featured segment of tonight. Let me play the intro video that I got.
Yo guys, I made a new sexuality now, actually. It's called super straight, okay? Since straight people, or straight men as myself, I get called transphobic because I wouldn't date a trans woman. You know, they're like, would you date a trans woman? I'm like, no, why? That's a female. No, like, that's not a real woman to me. Like, I want real woman. No, you're just transphobic. So now, I'm super straight. I only date the opposite gender, women, that are born women. So you can't say I'm transphobic now because that's just my sexuality, you know?
The 16-year-old boy whose TikTok video about how he's attracted to girls started the super straight hashtag has revealed he's removed it because trans activists have sent his mother death threats and have written negative reviews of her business to try and destroy it. And then as soon as this happened, as soon as it started trending, all these articles started, like if you Googled super straight, within hours of this shit hitting Twitter and gaining some traction, the Google results were pink news articles about how this young man destroys a transphobic trend.
I don't understand how the LGBTQ community, based in loving who you want to love without judgment, sitting here and hating on straight people.
So this person is talking about the super straight thing, which is something that straight people have made up to describe themselves if they don't like having relations with trans people. And I'm here to tell you why that's wrong. First off, the reason that we're so pissed off about this trend is because it's definitely to make fun of us. It's not to be a legitimate thing. The reason that they're saying super straight and making it like a flag and all that stuff is to make us upset. Now on to the legitimacy of that attraction thing. What is the thing that identifies a trans woman over a regular woman? Name something. And it can't have anything to do with birthing a child.
Why? Why can't it have anything to do with that? Is it because that's a 100% accurate way to delineate between trans people and real women?
You can't tell me that people are unattracted to people who are not fertile because you can't tell. The only reason people...
But that's a huge sticking point in a relationship. I can't have kids. Well, I want a family. I guess our relationship doesn't work. I guess not. I guess is that not an accurate thing to say? Is that not a thing that happens in the course of human history as a way to end relationships?
People aren't attracted to trans people is because they think they look a certain way. And they don't. They look like women.
I need to have on my OBS layout, I need to have that Sanpaku eyes thing as like an overlay that I can just drag and drop at any time. Because this motherfucker is staring into my soul, letting me know that if he could rape me, he would do it and he would be happy because I am a TERF or whatever. Really unsettling to watch this video, but it just so uber owned this whole transphobic movement. So here's an insider.com, right? I don't know. This looks like a finance website, like Insider as an insider trading, but for some reason it has a culture area, and it says a social media trend has people identifying as super straight. The transphobic campaign was meant to divide LGBTQ people. And really, this is just one of those articles I mentioned that just popped up and were the first Google result for shit. But, Actually, it's on the bullet points right there. The descriptors started on TikTok, but gained traction on toxic forums like 4chan and Kiwi Farms. We did it, guys. We got mentioned by Insider.com. I have a big list of these media mentions that I need to put on the site somehow. One day. It's on my to-do list, I promise. I don't think the article's worth reading. Insider's trash. So there was a Reddit for it, right? And it was gaining some traction and lots of memes. People were having fun. Trans bees, super straight, that kind of stuff. Protect super straight kids, that kind of stuff. Just taking all those shitty fucking tranny memes and spinning them around. Good fun. But then, super straight has been banned from Reddit. This community was banned for promoting hate towards a marginalized or vulnerable group. Which one? The community had become increasingly exclusionary. Within 2 days, increasingly exclusionary with hateful content that is counter to its original satirical intent and was in violation of our policies. So here's the thing about Reddit. When there's an idea that they can't destroy, they don't ban it. They knew that if they banned this, it would take the wind out of the sails and then it would just, die. But with other Reddits, like this is my favorite one. There's a lot of like lesbian Reddits, which are now completely, they took out all the original moderators, all the people who founded the community and replaced them with trannies. They didn't do that here because this is trans exclusionary by nature, right? So they can't just do that. But they do it with like 2X chromosomes, which by its name means woman. Natal woman, born a woman, maybe also trans men. I don't fucking know. But they just replaced all of them with trannies. So now 2X chromosomes is literally ran by a cabal of people with 1X chromosome. And that's just fucking hilarious and also quite sad. This is a TikTok not found. I mentioned that the TikTok video was deleted. But this is not the video that's 404 not found. This is the tag super straight. Now, there are TikToks made with the tag super straight, but they're banned. All the TikTok tags that include super straight you cannot search for because the tag themselves are banned. Now, I mentioned before, I had a little diatribe many podcasts ago about the Confederated Mountain Peoples of the Caucasus. And if that sounds familiar, it's because they had a really, really ugly flag. Let me pull it up just for reference. Just so people watching can get a good idea how fucking ugly this flag is. Truly one of the worst flags ever made. So, if you can't see, it's like kind of like an American-looking flag with stripes and whites and the blue square that has a star alignment. Star alignment is okay, but they use 7 stripes and, or is it 6 stripes? 6 stripes. And they use green instead of red, and it's just a hideous flag. And that's why the Confederation, the Peoples of the Mountain Caucasus, does not exist today, because their flag is ugly. Similarly, this flag is fucking ugly. It's orange and black and looks like the Pornhub logo, which is why it was very hard to remix this into something that was attractive, that you could really imagine people flying around like the tranny flag or the LGBT flag. The LGBT flag is one of the most ingenious marketing strategies that has ever been done, ever. You've taken something as ubiquitous as the rainbow, and you've twisted it to mean sexual deviation. And now, anytime you see a rainbow anything, you just assume that this has something to do with the rights of gay people. And it's just it'll go down in history forever. No matter what happens to our society, we will talk about how we allowed the rainbow to represent gay people. And something like this represents a porn site. This doesn't represent like an identification. So that's why I lost traction. I tried to remix it. These are my attempts. But the issue I realized when I tried to make like a tree, like representing the branches of a family or whatever, is that orange and black are very Halloween-y. And when you try to put a tree on something orange and black, it just looks like a spooky Halloween flag. Like, this is my Halloween flag. to spook the kid. Look, there's even like an angry owl face on it in the dead center that makes it look like a spooky Halloween flag. So there's really no saving it. I did like this one attempt by Jimson to remix the flag into something easily identifiable and immediately visually appealing to everyone. He changed the colors a little bit and added a third color. I assume the pink represents bounteous loins for producing tard babies with, but it's a little bit better than the black and orange. So, after it was, this is what got it banned. And I have to say, I'll just read this first, actually. David Paisley, verified checkmark, says, for all the gender-critical accounts who shared hashtag superstraight and got it trending, it just took 5 minutes on Google. It's a far-right troll campaign from 4C Chan to get you to associate with Nazism. Slow hand clap. And then there's like the Kekistan remix with orange and black. And then there's the SS from whatever, the Secret Service, whatever the fuck the Nazis called it, on the flag. And I think at this point in time that anyone who uses poll is like an NGO or a Fed. And they just find like organic fun ideas like super straight. And then they just like slap some Nazi shit on it. And then it's immediately discredited. Because I don't know anyone who actually uses poll anymore. I'll check it like once every couple of months when something happens that I want to see their opinion on for whatever reason, and then I'll be done within like 5 minutes because I can predict it. But I really think it is. It's just like a bunch of feds trolling each other and taking fun ideas and ruining them for everyone. And this essentially killed it because once people started floating around like the SS images and shit, then that was it. It just became like a Nazi meme. But fear not. There is a space for trans exclusionary content on Reddit, and it's in porn boards. So there are many, many porn subreddits which only allow women, actual women, but they are all like horrifically degrading. There's degrading holes, and it's all posts like degrade me, I'm your slave, like these are my fuck holes, and it's just shit like that. Here are some subreddits which are not banned, but which super straight is banned. R Guro, R put her in her place. No, Guro is like hentai torture porn. R slave auctions, which I assume is like a roleplay thing. R degrading holes, R free use, R incest, R inbreeding, R struggle fucking, R abuse porn 2, R women in trouble, R panel, R game over girls, R abused sluts, R broken fuck toys, R wrecked whores, R misogyny fetish, R shiobays, and R dead eyes. Reminder that Reddit has banned every single female-only lesbian sub, big or small, but Degrading Holes is still running strong with 340,000 subs, cis women only. You're permitted to acknowledge what actual women are in the context of abusing and dehumanizing them. Fuck Reddit. This is because, I will tell you this forbidden knowledge which has been bestowed upon me. I went to the high mountains of Hrothgar and I spoke to the the turf circle that lives up there. And I said, turfs, the turf circle, what is the truth behind Shrannies? And they told me the forbidden knowledge about the tranny menace. And they said, they're all incels. They all fucking hate women and they just want to rape women and they want to force lesbians to suck their dick. And that's literally it. They are incels. And I thought about it and thought, fuck, it's probably true. That's probably true for like almost all of them. They're just incels that hate women. Because what else could be? I've never seen, they all seem to want to force women to have sex with them. They're all transbians. The number of... here's the difference. The transbians are the super progressive, like, Marxist ones who just want total equality between men and women to the point where there's no distinction, and lesbians are forced to have sex with them. The right-wing trannies want to be like trad wives, and they want to have their buckies bred. That's the distinction. They're both fucked up. But I think the trannies that are not incels float to the right, and the trannies who are incels and just want to rape women float to the left. Maybe that's a radical reinterpretation of the traditional TERF doctrine, but I'm floating that way right now. So I'll read chat. What do you? I've been talking to myself. Right wing trend. There's a ton of them, but they are all like they want to be submissive, whereas the transbians want to rape. Or sorry, I have to say SA now. I'm gonna get banned from Twitter. I'm gonna miss this YouTube account. Oh well, I'll go to Odyssey. Make sure you join our Discord at discord.gg/sneed. And then when I get banned from Twitter, I can just come back here. I'll play the Discord anthem while you all join my account. Discord.gg/sneed.
I'm a Brad Pod, fat gay nigger pedophile, child predator, no pussy in a while. Oh my, I found you, nigger. Don't you run from me, little nigger. You are not based enough. You're not red-pilled enough. You are out of cock. Now it is time for you to die.
I love that video so much. He's just driving down the road screaming like a lunatic. It's a kind of freedom that man doesn't allow himself to experience anymore. We have to yell. I'll probably delete this video after I'm done streaming, just so you know. I think that's my notes line on the whole super straight nonsense. I don't have any content for this, but I did leave a note to talk about this. Toggle the Rat, who is the co-host of Zooier Than Thou, something which got a lot of popularity because my boy Toad McKinley, all grown up, made a big YouTube series about Zooier Than Thou, which I finally got around to watching. I thought it was pretty good. And he mentioned several times that Toggle has not been doxxed, and he has now been doxxed. So I really don't know anything about him. I couldn't. It's on the site if you want to go look at it. But my thing about, like, people messaged me about this before it happened, and it sat in my DMs for like a month, and I just ignored it because I thought, like, I don't have the energy for like another Zoo sadist crusade. You know what I mean? It was very draining last time, and it came around at a time where I knew if I watched these videos, I would be really fucking pissed, and it would suck me dry. It would like drain me of my goo, my precious goo. I would just be deflated. Kiro is back. He posted a video. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna go trans. That's how he'll dodge being a dog fucker. He'll be a transbian. Or whatever. True and goo. No. So yeah, I'm aware that the forum has like devolved into spurging, which is pretty. I mean, it happened last time. It happened with the zoo sadism stuff, and that's why I said I was tired of it, because I knew if I were to try and hold the reins and be involved every step of the way and dealing with Toggle, I would have to spend a lot, like many hours trying to like rein people in so that they wouldn't be so angry they'd be spurging out and shit. And I just like, fuck it. God will sort them out. I'm gonna play a movie clip. I'm gonna wind down. This is towards the end. I have a small Chantal update, and then I have this little clip that I want to play, and I'll play if I can find it. There's no video, by the way, it's just audio.
I did something really bad. About 4 years ago, the internet started to slow down at our house. I spoke to a guy I knew at work who said, maybe My browser's history was full. I went home. I opened up the internet. Aaron, such unspeakable things I saw. Pornography, mostly animal pornography. There's only two people who use that internet. Me and my wife Angela. And I was not looking at animal pornography, Aaron. I confronted Angela. She flat out denied it. What could I say? I knew it was her. This lie drove a wedge between us, and we began to drift apart. One weekend, I said we should come up to the cabin, right here. But on Saturday, I was called back to work, so I left Angela here by herself. The thing is, I wasn't really called back to work. I went down the street to the 99-cent store. There I found a mask. It was a wolf. 3 hours later, I came back to the house. I put the mask on. I broke in through the back window. Angela was asleep. I tied her up, at which point she awoke, at which point we proceeded to have ravenous, animalistic, sexual intercourse. I'd never seen her so happy. I have to admit it didn't feel terrible on my end. I escaped through the window and left her there tied up. When I came back the next morning, as myself, I asked her how her night was. She said it was fine, with a casual smile.
Okay, I'll cut it there. It's a little bit left, but it sounds interesting. I decided I do shitty movie reviews. I watch a movie almost every night, and I write a small review on the Fediverse. Only Fediverse exclusive content. Fediverse, KiwiFarms.cc, Fediverse exclusive. They're shitty. Nobody cares. Any post that I make on the Fediverse gets more traction than movie reviews, which is why I am not going to integrate them into my streams. But if I find a clip that makes me laugh out loud, I will bring it. I will bring it to the stream, and that made me laugh out loud. That's from the movie Creep, 2014. Pretty okay for found footage, actually. Bit weird at the end. Kind of breaks suspension of disbelief, but still pretty good. Okay, last update. One last thing. I have been engaged in a ravenous debate. The entire Kiwi Farms has turned against me. I said, Josh, we don't like you no more. You've said something which deeply offends us. And it started because of this clip.
When I was with Pete's, I was on the pill. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work, I guess. I don't know. But I ended up pregnant. And back then, I was so scared. I did not think I could be a mom. And he agreed. He didn't think he could be a dad. And I didn't know what to do. And it was early enough that I thought, okay, you have to make a decision. So I made that decision, and it haunts me to this day. I feel like, it's like karma. My life just really sucks right now. I think when I think of why I'm so sad, it's because
her thought cuts off there. She switches gears immediately after saying that. And I'll explain my thoughts on that in a second. This is a very old video, by the way. This is when BB and her split, and she's recounting the story randomly in the video. Before I go to my thoughts on that, let me play this.
Made my jaw drop many times.
It's girls out there
like,
who have let men eat haunted pussies. A haunted pussy is a pussy where she had an abortion less than a month ago and let him eat the pussy, knowing that it is cemetery juice dripping out her pussy. Haunted pussies are a problem in this country. A lot of guys have been digesting haunted pussy droppings, and I don't think that's fair. That man deserved to know that a life was yanked out that tackle box.
Oh my God.
If it's been less than a month.
I shouldn't have muted, but I laughed really hard at that. I've heard that clip a lot of times, and it still gets me. It's still very funny. Okay, anyways, so my opinions on that, it is a hotly, I didn't realize going into it, but it is a hotly contested field of chantology, and many people believe that story is a lie, that she fabricated the abortion story for simpies. She was hurting because of BB, and she wanted some simpies, so she lied. She lied about the abortion, which is pretty fucked up. In any context, lying about an abortion is pretty fucked up. But I can't imagine her, me personally, I cannot imagine her lying about that, because Pete's exist, and Pete's could say, wait, that didn't happen. Though, I mean, even if it was a lie, the chances of him saying, like, no, that didn't happen in any public way are low, because, like, he would just accept at face value that it was her decision to make, and he had no right to make it, and she just didn't tell him, and that's the first time he ever heard of it, and men don't have any say in that kind of thing. That's something that he would legitimately believe, because Pete's is the soy boy incarnate. He is the soy boy meme given fucking form in Canada, of course. So I do believe it's real, and I made a post late at night on my phone, laying in bed thinking about Chantal. And I went to the thread and I said, you know what? I think that she wants a child. I think that she wanted a baby, and she killed Pete's baby. And then she got with BB because she's arrogant. She, like, if you don't know the story of her and Pete's, she was with Pete's for years. They knew each other in like college or high school even. They knew each other for years, and they got together, and it was sort of a relationship of convenience. They didn't really love each other, but they knew that they were the best that they could respectively get. And I believe it is very likely that Chantal got pregnant, because birth control and even Plan B do not work correctly on the super morbidly obese, because it's a hormonal thing, and fat releases estrogen, which can fuck with contraceptives. So it's entirely possible that even on the pill, even with Plan B, she could have gotten pregnant from Pete's during the very long time that they were together, which resulted in this abortion. And she believed that she deserved better than Pete's. Completely, like, that's obvious. So she ended up cheating on Pete with BB, who is a black guy from straight out of Africa. He's from Senegal. Comes over, she cheats on him with BB, and then she tells Pete. She tells Pete what she has done. She has had an extramarital affair. Well, they're not married, but they've been together for fucking a decade. And they say, I've been cheating on you with this black guy. And Pete said to her that he would be okay with an open relationship. And I think that Chantal already I think she cheated on him hoping to piss him off and see a man at a Pete's, and when he said, "No, baby, you can do whatever you want. You can go fuck black guys. I'll just sit here. I'll just watch. If you want me to watch, I'll do that." And she was so filled with disgust and contempt at this kind of groveling patheticness that she left him. She left him for BB. And BB and her got married. BB wanted a green card, and then after he got a green card, BB started fucking women. He's, quote unquote, he supposedly had his sister from Senegal come over and live with them, but I think that it was just his real wife from Senegal who came over to be with BB, and then he was fucking her, and Chantal knew, and that's what ended up splitting the relationship. Because once he got his residency permit in Canada, he thought, oh, fuck it, I'll divorce her now, and I'll marry my real wife from Senegal. And I think that's what happened. And now, but the thing is that that's contested, and the thing is that she could have had a child with BB, but she did not, and they only broke up after she had her what's it called? Her hysterectomy. She had a complete hysterectomy, which means that all of her sexual organs were removed, and that's when the relationship formally ended. Because if anything, even if he wasn't cheating on her, BB wanted a family, and she could not provide him a family. And no matter what that gay guy said in response to Super Straight, you can end a relationship over fertility issues. It definitely happens. So then she's sitting there realizing, like, fuck, I have to go back to Pete's. He's the only person who would take me back, and he did. And now they have like a non-sexual, like monogamous setup going on where they're just like two cat ladies together, and she's crying because she realizes that she cannot have a family and she wants a family. And I posted that. I posted a very short version of that on the forum, on her thread, saying that, you know, women want kids, and she realizes she can't have kids now, and that's why she's crying here. And that pissed people off. I mentioned the turf council at High Hrothgar. They came down on me and started yelling at me, saying, Josh, it's very anti-women of you to say that all women want kids. That's not true. That's not true. Not all women want kids. Not all women want kids. That's very sexist and backwards-minded of you, and you can't say that, and you don't know what women want, and that's just bad. You can't say that. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure all women want kids because it's a biological imperative. And you're like, you can't say that, Josh. That's sexist. So that's been my life for the last week, people yelling at me that I don't know what women want, and I'm projecting. You want kids, so therefore all women want kids. That's what everyone's telling me, and I don't care. I'm right. I am 100% right. I don't give a fuck what the turf council at High Hrothgar says about me being right, but I am in fact right. I've been reading all these fucking weird, like, fan fiction posts about how this one guy, there's this one guy I banned from the site because he told me to join. He kept saying, Josh, join Trovo. You join Trovo and then shill it around and you'll get all these pennies and everything will be fine. You'll make thousands of dollars. Just join Trovo. Do that, get banned. I'm like, okay, fuck you. Get the fuck off. I'm tired of your advice. And now he thinks that May the pedophile, Digibro's ex, came on to me, and I rejected her, and I should have accepted her because she is a trad GF and would want kids. And so I've been reading all these weird fucking fanfics about what I should have done and what definitely happened and how I could have family and how I'm an incel and all this shit, all because I stated the undeniable biological imperative truth of truths that women want children, and you cannot change my mind otherwise. Stop trying, Kiwi cells. You cannot change my mind. Anyway, read the fanfic live now. Josh the incel lying it again. Josh is a girl on the inside. No, I'm not. Don't even try, tranny. I'm crossing my fingers. God will repel your trans lies from me. Okay, I think that's it. We're nearing up on 2 hours. I thought it would be a little bit longer than that, but I think that's all I got. I could play some other stuff to get banned from YouTube. I guess I shouldn't risk it. I've already done too much damage. I'm already gonna have to bow towards Tel Aviv tonight. Oh, I do have this song. I'll play this.
It's been 2 months ago, came to America's control. Said you'd give a stimulus, where is my money, Joe? It's not looking great, and you swore you'd never cage. Guess your campaign was all fake. What's new with you?
It's a pretty good song, actually. She has some talent. It's a shame that she is gonna sing really shitty songs about gays and shit. Okay. I do believe that's it. I believe that's all. I do believe I've played everything. Any last statements? Anything from chat? We got 9 more minutes left before 2 hours on the mark. How long is $1,400 going to last? Anyone know? Less than a month. Play my gift. No. No case cooking. Shill your Odyssey. I don't have one yet. Oh, jeez. Jim and Amber news. I don't know anything about Jim's. Oh, there's that fucking Derek Chauvin case, which Jim has been making fun of. Only thing I know about the Derek Chauvin case is that it was live streamed and one woman had to put a skirt up around her table because people were gawking at her feet under the table on the live stream. That's pretty funny. Coins are probably dead in the water. The price I got from the last one I was hoping for is about 15 pounds over the price of silver per strike per coin, 50. So I can't, like, that would be doubling the price of the silver to sell it. So I don't know if someone happens to know a bullion company willing to strike a coin for less than $15 let me know. JC Moon at pm.me or Noel at kiwifarms.net. Send me a message if you're in China or something and you have a giant Chinese group that can do it for less than $15 per coin. Let me know. And yeah, that's $15 over spot, not including the dies, because you have to custom build the striking dies to begin with, and then not including my cut. So it would be at least double the price of the fucking spot to get those coins out for that guy, which is worse than the first bid that I got. So if you know someone who can do it, then please contact me, because I would love to do the coins. Otherwise, I won't have to wait all the way until Halloween to do a merch run, which sucks. That's a lot of money. That's not going to be capitalized on if I don't do a run in the first quarter. So. Shocked the coins didn't work out. So surprised. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Cure the Wolf uploaded a new video. I don't care. What's going on with Rikita these days? He's talking about me being sued. I'm sure he's making a lot of money off me not making any money and losing a lot of money off being sued. Kevin Gibes. He likes being talked about. You can go check out his thread and see his tranny hole. He refuses to let Yawning Sneasel fuck him. Someone please hook my boy Yawning Sneasel up with Kevin Gibes' tranny hole. Thank you. Josh killed his basil. I did. I had to. The only way I could destroy the aphid menace was to go scorched earth. I went full Joker mode and I burned down the forest in Cambodia. Do a charity event. No. Fuck charities. They all suck. No, I still have my GME stonk. I'm not selling it until it's $4,000. Okay. I'm done. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, baby, I love you. С утра проснувшись с Бутуна, меня трясет и глючит. Под окнами местная шпана конючит. No future, no, no future, no, no future, no, no future, no, 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 no future, no, no future, no, no future, no, no, no. Я люблю жизнь. Я надеваю тапочки, ищу чем похмелиться. В моей
башке давно пустой мотивчик поселился. No, no future, no, no future, no, no future, no, no, no. No, no future, no, no future, no, no future, no, no, no. Давай, Дав, давай, гитарист хуев. Попизди мне еще тут под окнами, блядь, черт нахуй. Иди домой играть, домой иди. Заводы стоят, блядь, одни гитаристы в стране, блядь. Почистил зубы и поссал, и пивом похмелился. Ведь если я сейчас умру, то нахуй я родился. No, no future, no, no future, no, no future, no, no, no. No, no future, no, no future, no, no future, no, no, no. А еще эти пидоры иногда кричат «король и шут» и орут «панк no dead», блядь.
Just a little factoid for anyone still listening. He uses the word "pidoryu," I think is how you pronounce it, which is like the Russian word for faggot. How risque of him. It was a simpler time in Russia back then.